everybody, it's Steven. I was just watching the Kavanaugh hearings for pretty much the whole day. Didn't get a lot done. Obviously, Dr. Ford testified very credibly. That put the Republicans, I think, in a weird place. One of my main takeaways is that Brett Kavanaugh does not seem even remotely qualified to be on the Supreme Court. I think people have to be wondering how he can be in the position he's currently in. He did not seem to demonstrate the type of temperament that you would expect on the Supreme Court. It just goes back to what I've sort of been saying all along, that he just kind of seems dumb. And for example, it seems very obvious to me that going in, he would understand that he needed to show some contrition about his past drinking. At the very least, I think that would help him come across as relatable, as having, because there's all this stuff about his hijinks and his high school days out there. It would have at least helped him to come across as somebody who's learned something, who's grown a little bit since high school, as most people have. If he's going to just stonewall and deny on the specific allegation, at least come across as contrite and penitent on the issue of his over drinking. And instead, he really leaned into the beer thing, which I just thought was a really weird choice. And I think it's because he's just a bro, like at his very core. But the whole just like really leaning into beer is great. Don't you love beer? What do you drink, Senator? Was just weird and a really bad choice. And again, I think it exposes sort of like who he is fundamentally at his core. He was belligerent, and just a weird dude, kind of. Anyways, I think the strategy was clearly to come out as the with a sort of sense of righteous indignation. That was the plan. I think it didn't fit him well at all. He clearly didn't have any type of run-through with anyone on his prepared remarks, because if he'd practiced that even once with anyone, even his wife, she could have told him, like, hey, this is not a good this is not a good idea. Don't do it that way. They must be going with the doppelganger theory, because what they're trying to do is sort of, he's trying to be angry and incensed that his good name, he'll never coach girls basketball again. This is a political hit job, but also they feel bad for Dr. Ford. Well, if this is a political hit job and your life has been ruined and your reputation has been ruined and it's been all of these things, shouldn't you actually be very, very angry at her? I mean, you're basically saying that she just committed a felony by lying to the committee, and yet he's saying he has no ill will towards her, and the Republicans on the committee are describing her as a victim. And so that is odd, but I guess they're actually trying to square that circle. It doesn't bode well, I think, for the overall reputation of the Supreme Court, and we're already looking at probably the most partisan court of all time. It seems like there have to be dozens of super right-wing yet technically qualified judges, but we'll see. We'll see.